All right. So, at what point in your spiritual journey does all of it start making sense? Because, like, I can't tell because there's so much work going into like fucking gaslighting me that like sometimes I have a hard time deciphering what's like an actual like coincidence and what isn't. Because there's been some that are far from it, and then there was one just now. There was this terror rating that popped up that said something about spiritual inheritance or something, and I just clicked on it. I was listening to it for a second, and she was talking about like narcissism being in your bloodline, and oh boy, is it right? It is. It is. It is. And it's something that like I know I used to a lot in therapy ask, is it me? Because they always tell me that it's me. I'm the narcissist, and my shrinks would always say, "You aren't the narcissist if you question whether or not you're the narcissist. Like, if you really deeply like sit and ponder, is it really me? Am I the one that's?" And chances are, if you like actually like self-reflect and ask yourself if you are, rather than just shouting out, "They're the narcissist, you're the narcissist," usually narcissists do that. So she's talking about that, and I was thinking, yeah, that is pretty. There is there's a self importance in our bloodline that and a defiance, and I can see how trauma absolutely can like compound that, because I can see myself going from Mr. Chips to Scarface in this situation, like Walter White type of deal. I can see how it happens, especially after like profound repeated trauma, especially from narcissistic abuse, And she said something about like this could be something that you inherited from your mother's side of the family. And I was like, yeah, yeah, I'd say so. And I started thinking about like all especially some of the women in our family, And right underneath it, I happened to look down, and there is this picture of old people, like from the maybe 20s or 30s, and they're all dressed in like that time period clothing, and they're holding up this big flag, and the name on the flag was my mom's name. It was right under this where I was watching. Oh my god! No, that had to have been a synchronicity. That could not Google could not possibly have cooked that shit up. You cannot tell me the algorithms are that. Nah, that was crazy. But it was my mom's name for real. It said Deborah across this flag. What? Cause yeah. Yeah. Yep. So, confirmation burp, I'd say also she was, um, she had all the traits of it, and she had a lot of trauma. But if you're self-aware enough to like ask questions, and I can, there are times, and I think everybody, and it's not like how everybody says everybody has a little bit of autism. No, uh-uh, no. But with narcissism, I think that a lot of people, especially people who do have profound trauma, and the, there are aspects of it in people. But as far as like full blown narcissistic personality disorder, yeah, I don't believe that they question, because I don't think she did. And some of the things that she would do, just just I mean, instinctually that she would do that were just cruel and cold and calculated. Like I lash out and I mean, just I remember like if anything I loved, like especially if one of my pets were sick and I couldn't afford to take it to the vet, and she would let me sit there and cry to her for hours, and she would be like, "No, no, that's not my problem. They're all gonna die anyway. What do you want me to do about it?" And she'd have it, and she'd just sit and watch me spin and cry. And the more I would cry, the more upset I would get. You'd see her face change, and then she'd sit there and she'd get that smirk. You know that narcissist smirk where they're happy that they've upset you? Like, I'd be sitting there with a kitten that's half dead, crying, and be like, please, mom, can we please take this? It's a baby, it's gonna die. And I'd be crying, holding this half dead animal, and she'd be sitting there smirking, enjoying the fact that I was spinning and I was upset and I was hurt and that something I loved was hurt. And, and not only while she's doing that, she's lashing out at me and trying to hurt me further. Like, those are the things that I could never, I would never ever do to another human, animal. Hell, it's why I like animals more than I like people. People are, and I read somewhere too that like if you were in like an environment with that kind of you know dynamic, the perpetual daily trauma, and the only love that you experience were like your animals, that that tends to be the case, that you would relate more to the animals than to the people because people have caused you trauma and harm while animals show unconditional love. And they knew that. Both of my parents knew that. My dad loved to like haul my animals off and drop them off somewhere in the woods while I was at school, and then I come home and my animals would be gone. Or I had this cat. His name was Sammy. Sammy. And yeah, he was named after Sammy. And he was one of those orange guys. And orange cats are the best because they're so fucking weird. And he was such a weird guy, but he was the most loving. Just oh, I miss him so much. But before we got his balls taken off, he would just like haul off and piss everywhere. One time, oh my poor baby. One time we were sitting there watching TV, and he walked into the bedroom, got up on the bed, and my kid's shelf with all of the manga, all of the manga was on the shelf there, and Sammy walked up and just hauled off like a dog, raised that leg up and just sprayed all over the manga books. We had to throw a lot of them away. We got some of them cleaned up. Finally got his balls taken off, but I had to leave. I had to leave. We had to leave all our babies behind, and I don't know what happened to him. And I'm sure he did something terrible because he would do terrible things in front of us with them. And but Sammy was really, really smart, and the front door, well, it was like the back door, but the porch. He would come up on the porch, and this door had this like weird latch, like old school handle, and it didn't close all the way. So my dad had a thing about locking doors because he was terrified that somebody was going to come in and take his guts. And this cat learned how to open the door, push it open, and run in, and he'd come running back to our room, and it would infuriate my father. Oh my god! And he would get so angry, and he would every time he'd slam the door, almost breaking the glass in it, like because I don't know that rage that like you're gonna ruin and you're gonna fuck up your own shit to get back at. So it's an animal. It can't help it. You know, it can't help it. It was an intelligent animal, and it figured out we were the love, we were the food. We had the bathroom back there. He opened the door and he come running back to us. And Dad hated it, and he would get so violently angry. And he would slam the door almost to the point of breaking the glass. And then he'd come back there and start screaming at me, right? Because I did it. I didn't do it. The cat fucking did it. It was clearly the animal that learned how to open the door itself because it was intelligent. And he'd come back there and he'd scream, "You're a damn cat. You did this. You get that cat out of you, stupid. And I would get reamed for 30 minutes in front of my kid about how ignorant I was that the cat opened the door, you know? And that's the type of logic that you're dealing with narcissists. And then you've got to heal all of that. And I get, you're supposed to put your past behind you, right? You want to heal from it so that you can move on. But if, and still to this day, you're being constantly, daily compounded with more trauma, more drama, more fuckery from people who don't have the ability to self reflect, who do not care about your feelings or have any kind of empathy or sympathy at all for your trauma, and continually just beat you down more and more and more, then it keeps you stuck in that pattern of living in the past. Because you're still living in the past, just with different characters. You know what I mean? Like, I'm still surrounded by people who are just like that, who want to hurt you because they don't like themselves, because they don't want to face their own bullshit and do the hard work. And again, that doesn't mean clocking in and collecting a paycheck, because it doesn't take a rocket science. It doesn't take emotional. It doesn't take a whole lot of intelligence to collect a paycheck. It takes emotional intelligence to do the hard work, which is fix yourself so that you become the best version of yourself, the highest version of yourself. So therefore, you can collect the highest paycheck without having to steal other people's. You know what I mean? It's not, and it doesn't. It isn't rocket science, but it seems to be a hard concept for people who aren't willing to do that kind of work and want to injure and hurt other people the way they've been hurt, rather than heal themselves so they don't keep repeating cycles and patterns, because that's all it is anyway. It's just repeating cycles, and I don't feel like doing that, and I'm certainly not gonna keep living like that, keep getting stuck in it so that people can make I've always it's always been their doing, right? Their issues that they project onto me, they punish me for, and then I have to not only fucking fix what they broke, but fix my own shit too. And I'm not doing that. I don't give a fuck how anybody feels about me anymore. Especially if they're not emotionally intelligent enough to figure out why they feel that way. You know? I'm certainly not going to allow them to keep abusing me or keep abusing the people or the animal or things I love, or take them away from me because they don't like themselves and they don't want to see me happy. I don't give a fuck if you want to see me happy or not. It's like I had to leave them behind. I had to leave my parents, who I do love. I still, to this day, I love them. But I don't deserve to be abused anymore, which is why I ran here and stayed here and did all this shit for a year and a half for no fucking reason. Because all of it is pointless. All of it's, for nothing. It wasn't for nothing, because I learned a whole hell of a lot about how the system shouldn't be run and who I do not want to be. So it wasn't completely wasted, but now, after living all of this, 44 years of it, I I can see how people become narcissists, but I also see how you can prevent that from being your reality too. Like how not to act like that, how not to inflict pain on other people because you're hurting. And I still have issues with lashing out when, because that was the only way. It didn't really stop it, you know. But my dad was cold when he would say things. He would say the most vile, fucking hurtful shit that would just cut to your soul to make sure that you it wounded, and and it would be over like putting dishes in the dishwasher the wrong way. it wasn't even warranted. But it would be like, you were a mistake and nobody wants you, nobody will ever love you, that kind of shit, over putting forks in the fucking thing wrong. So, uh, when somebody does terrible, fucking horrible things to me, like inexcusable, illegal things to me, and they keep compounding it, and then they get in here and they say everything they're doing in these comments, it brings up this rage where I have to be real careful. And here lately, I'm not because they're not being careful. And it's like, why should I? I'm going to match energy so you can see what you're acting like. And I think that's part of it too, is matching that energy. You're going to give it, well, I'll tell you. But that doesn't solve anything. It doesn't make anything better. And you're making me stoop to your level. And I'm not doing that. You don't get that. But you're also not going to get away with it. Like, I'm not going to allow you to keep doing this. But I can say, I got 5 planets in Virgo. One of them's my moon. I can say things that will make you think twice about all your life choices. I promise. It'll hurt. And I don't want to do that. I certainly don't want to do that to people I love. And it's really hard to do this work, to do this kind of work, so you don't hurt other people. And I'm having, after all this, I'm having a hard time, like, even wanting to do what I initially started out to do, to help people. Because I'm having a hard time feeling like if I don't deserve to be treated like a human being, I don't know. So I'm working on some thinking, because I want to see people. I want to see people happy and succeed. I am actually happy when other people are happy, when they're thriving. I want to love and support other people, but I've been surrounded my entire life by people who hate themselves so much that they want you to hate yourself too. And I don't want to be around people like that anymore. I've worked through my insecurities, and I still have some, but I'm a lot better than I've ever been in my life as far as how I feel about myself. And I'm not going to let people who don't like themselves bring me down. And I'm certainly not going to allow them to steal from me or try to hurt or take away any more of what I've built, what's mine. And I mean, the laundry list and the things like you put, there's some of the things that they're putting in these comments that I didn't know they did. But that's the thing about this, like, narcissistic wounding shit that they do, is they, because they hate themselves. And that's basically what it boils down to. It's an innate insecurity, a wounded child. But all the trauma compounded, like, like removes the ability to objectively look at why or their behavior, and they project it and make you the issue. And I'm not the issue anymore. I'm a solution, and I'll be I'll be chucked down if it's going to continue, especially from people, because you can see it. Like, once you see it, you see it, and you can see exactly where in these people it is coming from, what their insecurities are, uh, where it's coming from, and why they're lashing out. But it doesn't excuse it. And I'm no longer going to be. I'm not gonna. And like, they had that stupid donation day yesterday. We were out of food. I should have gone, but it's made me so traumatized and uncomfortable. But who else? I mean, how else is it going to change if I don't say something? But I can't go in there with 20 or 30 of them all staring at me, watching every little thing I take, and keep an inventory of it so they can talk about it and then later punish me somehow, like narcissists do. You know? So I gotta figure out food today, and I'm so fucking sick of it when you have literally listed all the things that you've done to me, that you've taken from me, and I'm gonna leave her homeless with my body this way, with we're still not healed, but I can't go to any of you because you're not doing things for the reasons you say. And this is scary. It is. It's frightening because you have every single document. You have everything. And it's and just sitting here thinking, we're still hungry. My body is, it's, this is a disability. I cannot do what you want me to do or what you're trying to coerce or control me to do, which is illegal in this state in situations of domestic violence. They've made it illegal, and the people you go to, kids, the people you go to are using all the tactics that abusers use to control on the victims in order to collect, I guess, their money. I mean, that's all what it boils down to. And I don't know where we go from here. And I'm terrified, and I'm not going to be homeless again. And I'm not going to walk out of here and let you continue this fucking cycle. I wasn't willing to put up with it anymore, which is why I left in the first place and went to find help. To be somewhere where we could be our full selves without fear of, of retaliation, without fear of people committing crimes against us. Because we had to leave our own home, leave our own families because they were doing it. And you guys love bomb the shit out of us and promise all the things, just like narcissists do in the beginning. So, I don't know. But I'm sick to fucking death of it. Because I can't make money. I can't get on here and try to do anything with every single thing. Everything I try. And then you go around telling everybody in town who I could possibly go to for help, or that I am a lazy piece of shit. I'm the one who doesn't want to work. I'm the one who's doing all of it, just like narcissists do. Because if you listen to if you're in a group of people, right? Here's how you spot the narcissist. Narcissist is always talking about the victim. They're always spreading lies, gossip, always about the victim. So if one person is just constantly, all they ever talk about is one person, right? One person. And everything they do, everything they say, start questioning why. Because normal people don't just go around talking about one person all the time. That's excessive, that's strange. There's something wrong. Like most people like talk about ideas and things like, things they're interested in. But if one person is constantly focused on another person and trying to do things to prevent that person from forward movement, then you go start asking questions rather than join them, rather than help them. That's how you become a flying monkey. Trust me, I have been a flying monkey. And sometimes I get that you have to do their bidding in order to stay safe yourself. I get that. Believe me. Because sometimes the narcissist is violent, sometimes the narcissist is cruel and will come after you if you don't do or take away your livelihood. I get it. Believe me. And I can spot there's three here that I know for sure. That are absolutely it's not hold the positions that they hold, and they are the problem. And that's something I can, because of the trauma that I grew up with. I can sit in any kind of scenario with people, and I can tell you who the problem actually is, and who enables it. I can see dynamics that other people cannot see. It's not just psychic things. It's from trauma. It's from having to shut yourself down in order to keep safe and watch energy changes, watch facial expressions, watch dynamics because of living in such unpredictable, frightening, sometimes violent situations for a whole lifetime. So I can sit and watch all the dynamics in a group. I can see who the problems are, who they aren't, who who's the most I can see who's the most insecure, who's the follower, who's the leader. I can see those. But I just sit back. I watch everything. It's kind of a curse because it keeps me isolated. And I hope it doesn't for the rest of my life. I hope that eventually I'll find people that I don't have to be constantly on guard like that with. People who don't lash out when they're hurt. People who don't hurt the people I love when they don't want to see me happy or take things away from me because they can. I don't want to be around people like that anymore. So maybe this is a blessing that we're getting out of here, and maybe we'll get somewhere else where we can get the actual help that I've been fighting so hard for because it isn't here. And God damn it, I miss my Sandy and Lizzie and Ray and this little baby. He was blind because we could never take anybody to vet. So like I would sometimes steal my mom's credit card in order pet medicines and have them like stockpiled so that like if anybody got sick, uh, I could do research and try to figure out how to give them the best help. And Ray was born and he had an eye infection, so I named him Ray Charles because he was blind. And but I ordered some. I stole my mom's credit card. I ordered the eye medicine, so I got his eyes to where at least he couldn't see, and they were. But he was such a sweet baby. I miss her babies, and I know my baby does too, real bad. And sometimes he would just he'd scream that he was gonna get rid of them, and that one day he took them all and put them all in a cage in front of me, and he and I sat there just scream, crying, please, please, don't take them all. Don't take, some of them. There was a lot of cats. There were some of them were babies. And the guy that would help my mom, he saw everything. He saw everything, and every day they would scream at me or do something to make me cry, and that guy would wait until they left and left the room, and he'd sit there with me and smoke a cigarette, and he'd be like, "I am so sorry, Katrina. I'm so sorry. They're so mean to you. I don't understand why your dad talks to you like that. I would never." And I'd be like, "Thanks, man. I appreciate that." He'd be like, "No, you don't understand. That's not right. It's not right how they treat you. It's not right." So there were people that saw it. My whole life there were people that saw it. One time one of my cousins apologized to me. He said all the adults talked about it. They knew. Everybody knew. When your when your family was also a black sheep, she, and I love her. I hope she's okay. But when even your cousins, when even your, they knew. They all knew. Everybody knew. They still made me the scapegoat. also blamed me, told everybody I was crazy, I was the addict, but there's a reason why people are addicts. And I understand addiction, so it's not something that I shame. But yeah, I just love. I haven't had a whole lot of it, but I have had a little, especially from animals, and I miss it. Which is why I go out and I feed the deer and I feed the squirrels. And I swear to God, if you hurt any of them, the way my dad would, if you think I'm bringing the thunder now, you just wait. Don't you hurt anybody. Don't hurt defenseless things. If you hurt children or you hurt animals in my presence, I'm gonna fuck your face. That doesn't sound good, does it? Anyway, good morning. Also, I've been up really just free bleeding for over a week. So, I don't know. Can't, it's not like I can get to the doctor without, some interference. So I don't even bother. I don't even bother anymore because there's no point in doing anything else here. There's just not. No point in faking it until you make it here because I can't fake it anymore. I can't walk into that garage and have you scrutinizing every little fucking thing I do, every little thing I take, and mean mugging me and giving me dirty looks when you're the fucking reason that I have, you're the fucking reason I have to, just like they were. But I don't have my family anymore. I don't have a community because I can't fake it anymore. I can't pretend like any of it's right anymore. I don't want to be around people who lash out on each other like that. Especially if they're not consciously working on it. Like, if they can't, like, sincerely apologize for things. And I swear to God, find out that anybody that I love and care about has put me here. Done this. I can't guarantee that I'm gonna take that so hot. Considering that they're living just great. And they're still so miserably unhappy that they have to take everything from me again. As I'm understanding and I'm forgiving. I tell you so many that I can't.